is an activity about functions, but they're different than any functions that you've seen before. So I need to ask one of you, Chris, will you take the mouse?
Sure thing.
And if you see the tabs at the bottom of the screen there, the tabs next to the word title, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move down just a little bit. Up there. That's the one. So click on page 1, tab 1. And this page has a bunch of functions on it. And we're going to experiment right now to figure out what the functions are. So will you grab point A and drag it around? All right, so hold on for a second now. What does everybody notice? Okay.
Point.
Somebody said something about Y. Who said something about Y? Okay, yes. Gavin. What did you say?
I said the Y is moving.
The Y is moving. And there's nothing else moving. Okay.
Moving in relation to the
The corresponding.
Okay, it's moving in relation to A. There's some sort of relationship here. In fact, there's a mathematical term called a relation that's related, that's connected to what you're seeing here. Okay. Can somebody say something about how they're moving? What have you noticed about how they're moving?
When A goes up, Y goes up. And when
Tara?
A goes down, Y goes down.
When A goes up, Y goes up. When A goes down, Y goes down. Okay.
They move like they're approaching like an axis. They come closer together and further apart.
Okay, Carly points out that they come closer together and farther apart. In fact, Chris, you just did something really interesting a moment ago. What were you doing that was so, that you were aiming for something that was really interesting there? Put them on top of each other. So you found a place where they can actually be in the exact same spot. There's even a mathematical name for that. That's called a fixed point of the function. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. How about how fast they move?
same speed.
Looks like the same speed. That was you, John? Okay, that observed that. Thank you. Now, Carly, it was you that said they move up together and down together, right? Oh, that was Tara. Okay. What can you make them move? So, certain movements we're taking them in the same direction. Chris, can you make them move in opposite directions? So sometimes you can make them move the same direction and sometimes opposite directions. That's pretty interesting. So a lot of interesting things to see about this. And we haven't even seen any numbers in this function, right? But we've got something that we call rate of change, how fast they move. Now, do one more thing, Chris, before we go on to look at one of the other points. Separate them a little bit and see what happens if you drag point Y. What's wrong? Pardon me, Chris? What's wrong? Come on. Just press the mouse and drag it.
I don't think it's working.
You don't think it's working? Okay. So one of these points is actually controlling the other. And we call the A the independent variable, exactly, and the dependent variable, because we can drag the independent variable, but the dependent variable depends on the other one, so we can't drag it. Okay, so we've got everything we need to fill out the first part of this worksheet, and we took a little extra time to do this because it's the very first one and we wanted to spend enough time to fill this out properly. So on your worksheet, where it says Q1, everybody's got the worksheet, right? I passed them out, okay. So where it says Q1, the independent point was which one? Was the A, and the dependent point was Y, and the relationship I want to ask you to write that in your own words, something that you observed. Doesn't have to be a complete description of it, but something that you observed that those points were doing in relation to each other. So express something about the relationship in the box on the right. Whatever you want to write. Some people said some things about direction, some people said things about speed, some people said things, observed things about points coming together and so forth. Whatever you want to write about your observations, put there. Okay? Now, you'll play with the rest of these in a moment, but I want to take a quick look at page 2 before you start on your own. And let's see, John, would you do the honors and switch us to page 2 now? Yeah, that should work. Okay, so on page 2, Michael, do me the favor of reading the directions on the screen there.
Drag X and Y. What do you observe? The relationship X to X
Prime, we call that.
is a function. The relation X to X prime is not.
Why?
Okay, but the second one, yeah. Okay, so one of these is a function, x to x prime, and the other one is not. So, John, will you do us the honors of dragging the independent variable for the first one?
Well,
Okay, so that one's a function, and now drag the other one. No, the y. And that one is not.
what's happening?
Okay. So you're going to see several examples of these on these various pages. I'm not going to give any answers right now, but as you go through the examples, what you're going to do is write an answer. For instance, at the bottom of page 1, you just saw how those two behaved, the x and x prime and the y and y prime. So under Q2, write your observations about how they behave differently. How was x and x prime different from y and y prime when John dragged them?